It's 7 o'clock and welcome to Capital News Alert. Coming up, Accra Psychiatric Hospital deteriorates as mental health fund is yet to be operational. Clean environment for healthy living. And in sports, we begin the countdown to the FIFA World Cup in Brazil. Ghana seemed to be sitting on a time bomb with respect to mental health delivery. Not much can be said about the country's premier mental health facility, the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. A visit to the psychiatric hospital, better known as mental hospital, and one will be shocked at the deplorable state of the facility. Under such dire conditions, the actors in the sector are still holding their own, making all the sacrifices needed to ensure that the system does not collapse on us. Despite the odds and challenges, the Chief State Psychiatrist, Dr. Kwesi Osei, is optimistic that things will improve.
Establish the mental health fund. The mental health fund is that funding mechanism which will ensure that we always have money to run the affairs of mental health care. That has largely been the bane of mental health care. We don't have money. Every now and then, even as we are speaking now, we don't have money to attend to the patients who we are admitting. So we've been forced to reduce drastically the admission rate because we don't have money. We don't have medications that we used to give to patients. But if we have the fund established, then we have a ready source of money which we'll use to run the affairs of mental health care, to be able to buy food for patients, to purchase medicines and all that there need to be there.
The controversy generated by the proposed new Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, between the European Union and African, Caribbean and Pacific countries doesn't seem like ending anytime soon. Civil society groups continue to push the government not to sign the pact. Their main concern is that the EPA will negatively impact on their developmental priorities. A public forum organized by the Ministry of Trade and Industry saw civil society groups and other organizations making a strong case against the EPA. The Vice President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Edu Jemfi, says the impact on Ghanaian industries will be negative.
Right now, as I speak, I am one of the industrialists producing pharmaceuticals in Ghana. We export to 6 countries in the EPA region. What happens if you have the same pharmaceuticals coming to the market and they are not paying anything and the duties are off? Are we going to be able to compete against their products? Which is no. And I believe that all other manufacturers in our sector are also have the same concerns. EPA will further fragment, and generally as we are looking at harmonization, which Honorable Hamatete is in charge of the integration, we should rather continue to build on the integration or harmonization of the EPA countries, rather than looking elsewhere. Because EU came together, integrated and built up their own region. Why are we now looking at them?
Dr. Vladimir Entredanso, a fellow of the Legon Center for International Affairs, cautioned government to tread cautiously. He urged that a thorough research be conducted before a decision is taken.
Signing as a bloc is better. Even if the problems are there, it is better to face the problems collectively than individually. I really don't know, but I think the leadership, the current Minister of Trade, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs, who used to be the Minister of Trade, are convinced that signing would give us a better chance. And I'm saying, let us research into it and find out whether that is the case. If we haven't based our findings on research, I, Entredanso, will not be for it. Because I know in some cases we'll lose a lot. In some cases we may gain. But you must put the gains and the losses together and see whether there is an overall gain or an overall loss.
It is very rare, especially in recent times, to have young men and women take pride in helping to keep a clean environment. But for young Reuben Tete, that is exactly what he has chosen to do. Reuben believes that it is the responsibility of every member of society to ensure that we keep a clean environment in order to remain healthy for increased productivity. Reuben Tete works at the Kaneshi market. What he does every day is to desilt the drains that are almost always littered by well-meaning Ghanaians. Young Mr. Tete is amazed at our lack of appreciation for clean environments and believes that the lack of patriotism on the part of Ghanaians accounts for such a phenomenon.
Well, I feel so bad because I see very well that Ghanaians are not patriotic. We do things as if it is not for us. Sometimes you even see somebody drinking water, I put the sachet down, you tell the person, ask you, is this your house? So we don't even feel how we even see the compound. And we litter the compound anyhow, and then finally this is how it brings us. And if we also don't get this one, or we don't do this one, finally it will come out to the whole place, and it will rain. When it's rain, the gutter will be choked. And when it's choked, you see that the whole place will be destroyed, and we'll all be blaming the government that government is not doing. But it is our own fault that this is coming this way.
Young Reuben Tete completed senior high school in 2012, but with no help to further his education, he decided to engage himself productively to raise some funds for further education. With that decision, Reuben Tete found himself a job, desilting the drains within the Kaneshi market. He loves what he does, but his ultimate goal is to pursue further studies once he saves enough for it.
Well, I completed Orally Senior High School. Then it was at Adabraka, Isabat in Accra. But now it has moved to teaching Opoegono. Yeah, I completed to the year 2012. And, you know, even the very year that we are about to complete, many people were buying form to the next level of education. But even if you buy the form and they say you have admission, how can you get money? Go and pay for your admission fee before you continue. So I chose not to do anything. And by God being so good to me, when the results came, I passed well. And now I have to fight. In fact, now anytime you meet any of your classmates, where are you? Where are you? That is the question. Where are you that they are asking? They want to know the next level of education that you are. So I've decided that, no, why don't I take something to be doing? Because I started first by teaching, but I see that that one cannot help me. And by the time they pay you, you have even finish the money. So you have to take something that at it. By a year or a year and a half, I can get something for myself, and then when I get to school, I'll see what God will do for me. When I started, I was paid 20 cedis a day. So by day work is 20 cedis. But now, my boss has increased it to 25 cedis a day.
The mayor of Accra, Alfred Oko Vanderpoy, has served notice to traders and shop owners in and around Kaneshi and Mataheko to desist from showcasing their wares on pavements. The AMA boss, together with some members of the assembly, visited parts of the city on Thursday to warn shop owners who do business on pavements to stop the practice. According to him, such a situation creates congestion in the city. The Member of Parliament for Ablekuma North, Joe Apia, who joined the mayor and his team at Mataheko, which falls within his constituency, asked Ghanaians to unite and help develop the country.
We need to advance our developments. For example, when you are standing here, you could easily see that there's a lot of discipline here. In terms of, this kind of chaos around should be removed. Though we want them to work for us, but at least we want discipline in the area. And now just imagine, the whole place is nice, it's looking nice. No chaos around and that sort of thing. Ghanaians must be educated that this is not good. We want development in freedom. We want the city to be a city that will help both of us. We can't live in a city where there's debt. We can't live in a city where there's no discipline. There's no discipline. We need to discipline ourselves so that at least all of us will benefit for what is happening.
In sports, with 56 days to go for the kickoff of the 2014 World Cup tournament in Brazil, Capital News starts the countdown from now to Thursday the 12th of June 2014 when host nation Brazil takes on Croatia in the opening game. Today, we bring you a brief history about how the tournament started. No other sporting event captures the world's imagination like the FIFA World Cup. Ever since the first tentative competition in Uruguay in 1930, FIFA's flagship has constantly grown in popularity and prestige. In the 1920s, a group of French football administrators led by Jules Rimet mooted the idea of bringing together the perceived world's strongest football nations to compete for the title World Champions. The original gold trophy bore the name Jules Rimet and was contested for 3 times in the 1930s until the Second World War, which halted the competition for 12 years. When it resumed, the FIFA World Cup rapidly advanced to its undisputed status as the greatest single sporting event of the modern world. Held since 1958, alternately in Europe and the Americas, the World Cup broke new ground with the Executive Committee's decision in May 1996 to select Korea and Japan as co-hosts for the 2002 edition. Since 1930, the 16 tournaments have seen only 7 different winners. However, the FIFA World Cup has also been punctuated by dramatic upsets that have helped create footballing history. The United States defeating England in 1950, North Korea's defeat of Italy in 1966, Cameroon's emergence in the 1980s, and their opening match defeat of cup holders Argentina in 1990. Today, the FIFA World Cup holds the entire global public under its spell. An accumulated audience of over 3.7 billion people watched the France 98 tournament, including approximately 1.3 billion for the final alone, while over 2.7 million people flocked to watch the 64 matches in the various French stadia. After all these years and so many changes, the main focus of the FIFA World Cup remains the same: the Golden Trophy, which is the embodiment of every footballer's ambition. That ends News Alert on Capital Television.